Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about some news we got for The Walking Dead and just The Walking Dead in general, like all sorts of Walking Dead stuff, like season 10, just like as a franchise as a whole. Because Scott Gimple had an interview, and he also had an interview I talked about in the previous video about the Rick Grimes stuff. So he's been having some interviews talking about The Walking Dead, and in this interview he was talking about the ending of The Walking Dead, possible limited TV shows, The World Beyond, and other movie connections and crossovers. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to cover in this video because Gimple, he's the master at teasing stuff. It gets us excited, I think, for Walking Dead fans. So we're just going to cover it and talk about it in this video because I'm just interested to see what the Walking Dead community thinks of all this. So in the comments down below, let me know all your thoughts and opinions about this information. But we're going to start off by talking about the ending of The Walking Dead and what he had to say about that. So when speaking to Entertainment Weekly, this is what he had to say about the ending. Well, obviously the first thing he said was like there's a ton of more story, but this is specifically what he said. He said, "We're always in contact with AMC to ensure we're on the same page about moving forward." Gimple told Entertainment Weekly, "There isn't a timetable. We're continuing on. People are digging the show, and there's a lot more story to tell. I've said it, showrunner Angela King has said it too. The last issue of the comic reads like a pilot. There's a ton more story to tell. As long as the audience wants it, we would love to tell it. So far, we're very much on the same page." So that's pretty obvious because, while The Walking Dead is AMC's like main show, it's their most popular show, so it makes sense why they're on the same page. What's interesting to me is the part where he says that the last issue of the comic reads like a pilot, because that kind of tells us that even though the comic ended, that doesn't mean the show is going to end when the comic ends. It's obviously going to go on from there. That's really interesting that he said that. And I do think the show could potentially go on longer than the comics, or at least the franchise can. A personal opinion, I don't know if you agree or disagree, or let me know in the comments, but I think where the comic book ended is a good stopping point for the main show, like The Walking Dead, started in 2010 with the main characters. Like, that's a good stopping point where the comics ended. The franchise, though, could last forever. And I could see that happening because I don't want them to replace all the main characters on the main show and just continue that main show. I would rather them end the main show at a good stopping point and then continue on with other spin-offs and TV shows, because they're already doing that. They already have Fear the Walking Dead and the new show, The World Beyond. So they're already branching out and making other shows. So there's no reason for the main show to go on forever unless, or I should say, like, there's no reason the main show could go on forever if the main characters aren't on there anymore. As long as they keep a good majority of the main characters on there, I guess they could keep going, because the characters are what's like that main show. The characters are what I think what fans really like about it. The stories obviously are also very important, but the characters are what's the attachment to. So we'll see how long the characters on that show last and how long that show will last. But I do think the franchise as a whole will last a very long time. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree. But this is also what he said. He said, "As far as the ending of the show, though, whenever it might be, I would be talking about it with Angela and really try to fulfill the whole of it," Gimple said. "I think with Andrew Lincoln's departure, we try to sort of fulfill the whole of Rick's story on the show, and we had planned that for a good while. It'll be the same whenever, if ever, the show ends. Maybe we simply don't have to deal with it because the show goes on and on and on." So based on the way he's answering these questions, I don't think they have a stopping point in mind right now. But when it comes to they're going to come up with a good story, I think. Because I think they did a pretty good job with Rick. With Rick's storyline, they had it planned out for a while because of Andrew Lincoln, and they knew what was going on. So I think they did a pretty good job with that. So I think as soon as they start finding some sort of end game for the main show, they're going to start building around that. So I trust them. I do trust them because I think they did a pretty good job with Rick stuff. But we'll see. Let me know in the comments down below, when do you think a good stopping point for the main show is. I keep saying like season 12 or 13, or I feel like they could wrap it up with the Rick trilogy, because Rick started on that main show. I don't want the main show to end and the Rick movies to go on. I don't want the Rick movies to go on and the main show to end, vice versa, whatever. Like, I want the characters together, to end together. The characters who started off, the main group, to end together, and then they can do franchises and other spin-offs and whatever. But I say season 12, 13, or whenever that third Walking Dead movie is, just like, hopefully they work it so everything comes together and ends. So that's my thoughts and opinions about it. I think like if they start releasing the movies in 2021 and it goes like every year, that'll be like 2023, which would be like, season like 12 or 13ish. So let me know, what you think in the comments down below. But that's the way I kind of see it ending, or at least if that's the way it ends, I would be happy as a fan. All right, and then next I want to talk a little bit about this limited TV series that are apparently going to possibly bring back, old characters who have died on The Walking Dead. So Gimple also teased this. And he said this to Entertainment Weekly, and he said, we're working on a big push of something I was working on originally, and then I got much more focused on the shows in my first year on this job in developing The World Beyond and getting the movie going, Gimple told Entertainment Weekly. We really want to come out with different TV formats, meaning shorter things and then some event series, limited event series. So that's really interesting because I think limited series would work really well because it'll be something that'll be good for fans, and it won't be too expensive to make. If they really want to, push, like maybe other people who want to come back to the show and watch stuff and just like really make this a bigger universe, I think limited series would be a really good idea because again, not that expensive, but it could work. He went on to say those special events in the Walking Dead universe might be taking closer looks at time we didn't spend our characters we grew in love. I'm trying to get a number of different things that we can show at different times during the year, and this focuses on characters we miss and we lost, Gimple explained. It focuses on aspects of that new mythology. It focuses on stories that occur in our universe and have nothing to do with anything, nothing to do with the shows or movies that are just these little zombie tales that happen in our world with our rules and our timeline, but are just really great zombie stories, really great stories of the end of the world. I've been working on that with a variety of people, and that's actually proving to be super fun and interesting. So this is really interesting, and I think this will be really fun for fans of The Walking Dead because it's not connected to anything, like he said here. It's not going to be connected to movies or other shows. It's just like little stuff for The Walking Dead, and I think fans will really like this, and this gets me excited. It's interesting how we started focusing on things that we miss and lost, with characters and stuff that we didn't really see and we didn't really spend time with. That's interesting to me because we could see like characters, like old characters, potentially, their origin stories and stuff that we just didn't see. Like we could get a Here's Negan miniseries. Like if you've been watching my videos and when I talk about Here's Negan and a Negan spinoff and Negan origin story, I keep saying that I think a limited series would work best for this. Maybe even like a little movie, like straight to AMC or something like that. Because Negan has been on the show for a while, so I don't think like a big event like the Rick Grimes stuff would work out for a character like Negan. But a limited series could potentially work. A web series could potentially work. Like maybe a 30-minute limited series, a couple episodes, like stuff like that. I think would be awesome for the Walking Dead fans. And honestly, I'm excited for it. I could see some people not being that excited for it because they think it's a little bit too much, and I get that, But hey, it doesn't hurt or anything like that. I think just like little mini series and limited series and web series for The Walking Dead would be pretty cool. But I do have a question for you guys. He did mention, characters who we've lost before. Who's a character you guys want to see in a limited series? Like, what's a limited series right now? Like, if you could pitch a limited series to AMC, what would your limited series be? I'm interested. Let me know in the comments down below. For me, it's gonna have to be Here's Negan. That's like my limited series that I really want to see. Like, I want to see a Here's Negan origin story, a couple episodes. So that's mine. Let me know in the comments down below, your idea for a limited series. But moving on, the last thing I want to talk about is the new series, The Walking Dead World Beyond, and how there's going to be more crossovers and movie connections with this. So this is interesting to me too because this new show is coming out as very soon, like very, very soon. But anyways, this is what Gimple had to say about how this new show is going to connect to the rest of The Walking Dead. So Gimple said, "We're going to be discovering this very big aspect of the world that we haven't yet seen," The Walking Dead's chief content officer Scott Gimple said of The Walking Dead World Beyond while talking to Entertainment Weekly. "We've seen glimpses of it on the shows with the helicopters and the soldier that we saw Isabel on Fear. The movie does obviously touch upon some of that mythology, as well as Rick being in one of those helicopters. In some ways, World Beyond, it's a big story, and yet it's sort of a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to Rick's Hamlet. Meaning the show and the movie touch upon some of the same things, but they are not really that deeply related." Alright, so that was really well said. I like what he said there, because he said that they're going to touch on the same things, but they're not really that deeply related, because he's not trying to fool fans. I know with Fear the Walking Dead, a lot of people thought that, with the CRM is going to be a lot bigger than it actually was on Fear the Walking Dead. So here he's kind of clarifying that it's not going to be that deeply related, which I like. I like how he clarified that. But I'm still excited for the World Beyond, because it looks like we're going to actually focus on the CRM a lot more than they focused it on Fear. So we're going to see a lot more of the CRM, and just in a different corner of the universe, which I'm very excited about. Like, we're going to see more soldiers and more leaders part of the CRM. So this show looks to be like, even though he said here it's not going to be deeply related to the movies, we're still going to get like some pretty good CRM stuff, I think, and we're going to get a lot more than we did on Fear, at least. So I'm excited for it. Let me know all your thoughts and opinions about it in the comments down below. But I quickly wanted to talk about this interview that Gimple had with Entertainment Weekly, because he did share some interesting information. But with that being said, I am going to wrap it up there. Again, let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. What kind of limited series do you want to see? What do you think about the CRM and the World Beyond? Let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. If more Walking Dead videos, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.